Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today we're going to do another Women of Horror Spotlight. Today, I have with us an author, and she has a new book coming out called Crimson Cobblestone. I have with us Marie Lestrange. Marie, welcome to the
Hello,
Horror Room.
everyone. Hi, thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be here.
It's a blast. It's going to be a blast, I assure you.
Great.
So, tell us a little bit about Crimson Cobblestone.
Okay, so in 1998, conservationists discovered 1,200 bones buried under Benjamin Franklin's London home. This is true. I read about this in
Okay.
an article. Okay.
Okay.
And so while most people would think, oh, Benjamin Franklin, he was probably doing like anatomy research or whatever, all the fantastic things that he does, my mind went, hey, my boy's a serial killer. Let's write it. And so,
Okay.
it's a chilling gothic thriller. I weave together the perspective of my main character, Charlotte, and an unknown serial killer that you do not find out until the end of the book, connected with Benjamin Franklin and the historically accurate Hellfire Club that he happened to be a member of. And so throughout the entire book, I have little pearls of history threaded throughout, nods to real locations, real alleged experiences, alleged events, alleged cults, right? And just kind of an underground life in colonial Philadelphia.
So, how much time did it take you to do research and
Well,
inspiration for this book?
so I am a heavy researcher. It's like I hyperfixate on things. And so
The
after I
same
read
way.
that article, and I'm a big historian anyway. And so I already had a lot to go off of. I love that entire Edwardian leading into Victorian time period. And so I didn't have to do as much research on like setting and cultural norms and that sort of thing. But I definitely had to do my research on the people. And some of the most interesting things that I found out were that the original founder of the Hellfire Club that I write about
Mhm.
is actually my like distant cousin from way back.
Oh.
So Sir Francis Dashwood, he's hanging out in my family tree. So I'm like, I'm the one to tell this story. Okay.
Tell a little bit of family history there. And
I guess good or bad. I don't.
now, is Benjamin Franklin? I could have sworn he was buried in Boston, right? Or
No, he's buried in Philadelphia. I actually visited his grave. So,
okay,
and I said a little apology. I was like, sorry, Ben, but he was a nasty dude. Like when you
yeah,
really get further into researching him, he was a womanizer. There are lots of suspicious deaths that surrounded his common law wife's former husband. And then even his partner that they attribute the bodies buried under his basement. He had a little young partner, ended up dying by like 34 or something. And then his wife moved to America with Benjamin Franklin. I'm just saying, the man's suspicious, okay?
So, so jumping off the topic, why do you think men who are in power? Why do you think they're usually womanizers? Do you think they feel like they can get away with anything, or what do you think
I,
that's about?
yes, I will speak as a woman, having dealt with many men in positions of power, and how
Okay,
they seem to think that they are due what they're owed, right? This quote unquote what they're owed, and I say I've had experience with that because I am, in everyday life, this very intensive personality, kind of a powerhouse woman. And so I don't back down to that. I'm like, you're not owed shit.
yeah,
And so I think that it's just that patriarchal bullshit that's happened. Our entire society was founded by a guy's guy, the locker room type, the nepotism, whatever. Our entire country is founded on that. And so I think the culture that we live in specifically just raises men to have, not all men, to have that expectation. Like my husband is not that tall. Obviously, he married
yeah,
me. So,
yeah.
it's something that it is ingrained in our culture, unfortunately.
Because I've worked in corporate America. I kind of still do work in corporate America, and I am telling you something right now, ladies. Any, not so many, a lot of men who work in powerful roles who have a woman assistant is majority of the time fucking her.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
and I cannot tell you a time that I didn't see that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually shocking to me, and especially like I'm from Tennessee, so I'm from down here in the South, where everybody in there's a church on every corner and whatever, and it's like finding out as an adult how many people are so scandalous in their extramarital affairs. And like,
Yes.
I mean, it's just like, wow, and there's one thing, if you're pineapple people, you're in an open marriage or you're experiencing and like having fun and it's all part of your kink life, like no kink shaming here, I'm down. But like, if you're having to be a secretive ass about it, like, why? Why do you want the best of both worlds? And it's not even the best, because you're being a bad husband if you're if your wife is, what I'm saying? A lot of them are like, well, I'm not getting what I need at home. Well, there's a reason, my friend. There's a reason,
I'm just too. As a man, you're 100% going to get caught every single time. So.
Right. I think so too.
100% of the time. Yes.
Yeah. And I think Benjamin Franklin, he just wasn't caught, but I caught him now. 200 years later, it's fine. I got him.
But do you also think that back then, I don't want to say women didn't care, wives didn't care, but did you think that most of them knew about it and they felt like there was nothing they could do? Or
well, they didn't have a choice. I mean, they couldn't vote, they couldn't hold jobs, they couldn't read, they had no opportunities. It was something that they were in these marriage, and women are still in that position today. A lot of people across the world where they feel like they can't get out of the situation that they're in, and not even talking about third world countries or whatever. I mean, there are middle class, upper class Americans, women that are trapped in marriages. They've been a stay-at-home mom or something, and they don't feel like they can financially leave. I think financial stability is a big part of it. And back then, marriage was largely convenience, and it was sometimes families meshing together, and even during the times of dowries or political connections, that kind of stuff still goes on too, but it was much more prevalent. So I think women were they didn't have a choice.
You see a lot more men also who are now, they stay at home, and you see that they put up with a lot of shit too. And I'm like, yikes.
Yeah. It's a lot. So I think it's really a mark of a good, and I want to say a man that is very comfortable with their own masculinity in their role. If they are comfortable being a stay-at-home dad, or if they're in that caretaking type of role, I think that's more manly to me than some chauvinistic asshole that you just, like most of our founding fathers,
Yes.
So
all right. So how long did it take you? Because like you say, you probably did a lot of fucking research. How long did it take you from doing your research to the actual contraception and getting your book out?
Now this is gonna sound insane, but I'm a speed researcher and I read really fast. Okay, so from the moment I read that article, okay, I already had the plot in my head. 48 hours later, I had the entire book plotted, because I'm an extreme plotter, like charts, and I'm going to make myself sound like a complete psychopath. That is exactly what I am. Like, I mean, it really, I like to plot down to the minuscule detail, and I don't start writing any of my books until I have every scene plotted out. I know what's going to happen. Now that's with some flexibility. There are some things that changed along the path. And so then I find that as I'm writing the scene, and as things come up, that I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Did they have that type of locking mechanism, or did they have that type of weapon, or did they whatever, during that time period? Then I would jump off and research it. And so through that process, I write for about 4 hours a night. I don't watch TV. That's the secret to my success. And by success, I mean being able to accomplish tasks. Yeah.
You mean you don't watch TV while you're writing, or you don't watch TV
period?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, very, very rarely. We pretty much own a TV for our son. My husband is a writer also, and we sit at our kitchen table and we smoke our hookah that has very legal shisha in it, everyone. Okay. Okay, Marie, yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's why my books are so messed up. No, I'm kidding. No. So we sit at our kitchen table, and after our son goes to bed, we write, and we stay up really late into the wee hours of the morning. And that's kind of our together time. And we bounce plot ideas off of each other, and we talk about it. And that's how we like to spend our time together. So, the entire process from that 48 hours of here's my plot to the book was written was 4 months. Now, that was in 2020. Okay. So I've had wonderful, wonderful editors, friends, multiple rounds of beta readers. I at one point thought that I would submit to agents, and I never even tried submitting it to small pubs because then I started to get these wild ideas about some of the interior designs for my book. And I'm like, I think I could try this. I could do some self-publishing. I want to see how that goes. And I actually have 2 other books out already that are illustrated ABC books that are not for children.
Okay.
So yeah. So I thought that would be a fun little side project. And I just wanted to see what the whole self-publishing process was like. And so I put out T is for Torture, which is an illustrated, the ABCs of historical methods of torture, again with the historical. And it has my little character, her name is Little Lestrange, and she kind of goes on this experience of finding out about torture methods through all of history. And fun fact, all of the characters in the book that are being tortured are actually my friends who chose what page they wanted to be on. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun because I'm an artist too. And so I illustrated the entire book and then put it together for self-publishing. And I thought, oh, this is so much fun. I have to do it again. And so then this past December, I put out S is for Serial Killers, which is, as you can guess, an illustrated, more of an informational text, ABCs about notorious serial killers, but not in a glorified way, not in like a, revering them or anything. I have some poetry on each page, and a lot of it is making fun of them or, just kind of being like, these people were assholes. Here's why,
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of fun. So because I enjoyed the experience with both of those so much, I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. I have a couple of other manuscripts that I am editing and working on. And I still intend to pursue that traditional publishing route. But with Crimson, I really wanted, it's like my book baby. And I'm like, I want to do all, like, I would just want to have total control of it. So.
Is it tough? Because so a lot more authors are doing self-publishing.
Oh my God.
And
Yes.
I can imagine, I have a marketing background, and sales background. I can imagine it's tough because not only do you have to come up with the creative side, but you have to sell it, market it. You have to get boots on the ground. You got to be out there. If not,
wild.
No one's going to find your book.
It's wild. Yeah. And we have the most supportive community around us, the HWA, the Horror Writers Association. I joined probably 5 years ago and didn't start becoming actively involved until right around the time that I was writing the book. I really thought I needed to become a more, a part of this community and meet more of these people. And for me, once COVID, we were able to come back and be out in the world and be around each other again. Going to conferences with other horror writers has been the best thing that I could do. I've made so many awesome friends that have really been great mentors to me and kind of like shepherded me in and said, like, don't go this route, try these, this sort of thing. And so it's been a really, really great experience. So much so that I actually just chartered a new chapter for the state of Tennessee. So if anybody's listening or watching that is in the state of Tennessee and you're a horror writer, we've got a chapter for you now.
Nice. Next question I have to ask you. All right, so I was on the phone earlier with a good friend of mine, Christopher Pelton, who owns Psychotoxin Press.
I'm going on his podcast next week.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a blast. And I was talking to him, and we were just talking about, we kind of do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
And I was telling him, I was like, do you know who the individuals who had my best interviews were, they're the easiest people to interview? And he's like, who? And I said, women horror authors. I don't know why. Women horror authors are so much fun. They're easy to talk to. They have a great personality. I don't feel like I have to carry their interview,
Right.
And I'm like, I wonder why that is, because I'm not saying that women filmmakers are not, but like women horror authors are on another level. Like it's some of my best interviews.
I have a theory about this. I
Okay.
think it's because, number one, the horror community is predominantly made up of, the alt, like the different, the strange, I mean,
Introverts.
I have pink hair and, well, there are a lot of introverts, but being a woman and a lot of society's beauty standards and all of that comes out, I mean, I used to be the bleach blonde and all the perfect everything. And then when you really can embrace, you're like, I'm a weirdo. I like the weird shit. You know what I mean? And then you get to be around a community of like-minded individuals. That is so empowering. And I think it just helps lift us up to be like, you know what? Yeah, I'm a freak and I own it. And that's great. And so I think that's why a lot of women authors, specifically in horror, where everyone that I meet, so many, we're just like, oh my gosh, and super excited to be around each other. And it's such an uplifting community too. And I love that. I love that.
Yes, and I mean the indie horror scene is fun all around. Everybody is pretty supportive
Yeah.
of each other. I'm not everybody, but majority, I should say.
Most, yeah, oh
Yeah,
yeah, we've got some bad eggs for sure, but the community's
yeah,
pretty quick to root them out, so that's good.
yes, yes. And by the way, speaking of which, I'm gonna make an announcement. I am going to be making videos calling them out soon. So because I
Oh,
feel like they need to be put out there.
put that
So
out there.
so look forward to those videos. It might already be out by the time this video comes out. But
Awesome.
yes, but I feel
We will
like
keep a watch
those.
for that. Well, and we need to spread awareness of like when people are being assholes, we need to know about it so that we don't work with them or.
Yeah, because I interview a lot of indie horror creators, and they are afraid to say anything bad about even the assholes in the industry.
Yep.
They say,
Yep.
"Oh no, everybody's nice, and I'm blah blah blah. I'm not gonna bash anybody, but everybody's amazing." In this, and you see their eyes bouncing all over the fucking place. Like I'm like, okay, like come on now.
Well, they don't want to upset
There's
the status quo. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's no industry where everybody is amazing and supportive. And no, I mean, there's assholes in every walk of life.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, so what got you into horror writing, by the way?
Well, funny enough, I've been a long time researcher in nonfiction writing. My whole background is in education, and so I was a special ed teacher for over 10 years, and I still work in that capacity just outside of the classroom in a supportive role where I'm able to help lots and lots of teachers and make a really big impact with a lot of students now. And so in the process of amassing all of the college that I had to do in order to get my PhD, I have done a lot of research and a lot of writing. And so after I finished all of that nonfiction side of life, which I love, I have a heart for, and that's, I think, why my fiction writing is so deeply entrenched in research and history. And like, I still like that part of it. I needed an escape. I needed something so outside of my norm. And because I was so steeped in nonfiction for so long, I had gotten away from reading as much fiction anymore, and I really enjoy consuming movies. I don't watch TV, but I will go sit in the movie theater and I could stay there all day. Like, I love watching movies. And so it was like true crime lifestyle. That the true crime junkie thing kind of was my bridge. That was my gateway into horror, because then I'm like, oh my gosh, I love all of this. It's just seeing the depths and of the depravity of humankind, and then especially when I discovered extreme horror, I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
oh my god, this is allowed. Like, we can write like this. Like, that's crazy. And then I realized, I'm not this. I mean, I am like totally weird, but there are other people like me. I want to hang out with them.
yeah.
So yeah, so I thought I would turn my writing prowess into more of a fictional standpoint. And it's because I did a little bit of creative writing. I'm a theater kid, all the creative shit growing up, loved all of that. And so I just thought that I would try a different avenue. And it's been so much fun. And I love it so much.
That's amazing. Now, if you were a serial killer, who would be your?
Okay.
Okay, I'm trying to say this.
We're going there. We're going there. Okay.
Who would be your target victim? I would say.
Hmm. Oh gosh, living or dead? Do they have to be alive right now? Because that might be dangerous, like
No,
legally,
but
to say that.
I'm not
Yeah.
talking about individual, but like a group of people. Like most serial killers, they target a certain demographic or gender or something like that.
Oh, that's easy. I would
Yeah,
go after pedophiles, child molesters, like bar none. Yeah, I would
the
take.
ones that are the ones that are still on the street.
Yeah, I'd take them out. I'd take them all out. I'd just put them like I'll go in the prisons. I go all over the place. I'd take them
What?
all out.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
So what? Listen. By the way, pedophile and rapists are absolutely disgusting. But what if
super
one
disgusting.
served their time in jail? Right? Still gonna kill them.
Yeah, if you've harmed a child, yeah,
Okay.
you done. You done.
Yep.
If I'm gonna be a serial killer, if I'm gonna be a baddie, I'm taking out the nasty baddies. Yeah,
And that'd be easy to do too.
you've harmed a child, you're done. Like I no mercy. I wouldn't have 20 years of death row. I'd be like, hang him out in the square. Let's go. Like.
It'd be so easy to do too because you can just pull up that whole sex registry app, and it
Okay.
shows you.
I will say this though, and there have been cases of people doing that, and I do not advocate for the taking of any lives. All right, people,
Yes.
This is very speculative, and and it. However, I would be hesitant because there are cases where people are on sex offender registries maybe when they were 18 and had sex with their 16-year-old girlfriend, and then now they're on the registry, and like that to me, and also cases where if it was not definitively proven, because I think our justice system is so fucked up that there are so many people that are incarcerated that should not be, or they've been incarcerated far too long for minuscule shit, and so if there was a true, like a child rapist, a true child pedophile, yeah, that's who would be on my
How
hit
would you
list.
know if it's a true though?
That's the thing. I would need like if there was witnesses and not like circumstantial evidence. I would want to, like, if it was a verified 100% true, caught on camera, some kind of, you know what I mean? Like there's DNA evidence.
Like R. Kelly, right?
Yeah. I guess he'd be on the list. Yeah. Sorry, R. Kelly. Don't come near me, I guess. Damn. Yeah. But I mean, really, like people that can harm children, that's just, I'm not into it. Yeah.
Those are good ones.
What if I had said like little grannies? What would you have done? What if I had said like little grannies? Yeah. Like
what the fuck is wrong with her? I'm like, okay.
Like, thanks for coming on the pod. Click.
I'm like, still not the weirdest answer I've received for that, but yeah.
What is the weirdest answer you've received?
I think someone said little people or something like that, and I was like, "Huh, that's interesting."
Like little people with dwarfism, or little people like
little
children?
people. No, like little people were like dwarfism.
No,
and I was like, "That's interesting."
That's rude.
But I was also thinking to myself too, like, wait, I don't see that. Me and my person, like, I don't see that many around. So, like, you gotta really hunt high and low to do that.
I guess they'd have to be scoping out, I suppose. Yeah.
I mean, that'd be like me, and I'm just gonna kill all Native Americans. Like, I can't even tell you the last time I seen a Native American.
Really? Where are you from?
So I'm from North Carolina, but I live in Baltimore, and I don't see. I'm trying to think. I might have seen one. It's been years.
No way. Really?
I would say it's been years.
Huh. That's fascinating. I guess we're right near Cherokee and Tennessee in the mountains, and so it's normal part of our demographic around here. So
yeah, but please don't ask me that question because my answer is controversial.
Oh, is it? Well, I want to hear the controversial tea. I'm ready.
All right, so I would kill black men. That's who I would kill. And listen, and it sounds awful because I'm a black man, but I feel like I could get away with it.
That's terrible. What?
No, I just feel like the judicial system, especially in Baltimore, right? It's a huge black crime, especially with black men.
Okay.
They would just rule it, but just another gang shooting or violence or something. You know what I mean? I feel like, or even if I target like black drug dealers in Baltimore, like I feel like the cops wouldn't care.
They would just think they wouldn't realize that it was a serial intention, like that
Yeah,
you
they
were.
would think it was
They
some
would
kind
just
of
rope it
gang
into,
violence or something,
yeah,
and
which that sucks. That
it
sucks
does.
so bad that that's the current standing there. I honestly, I feel like my hair would give me away immediately. They'd be like, that one, she definitely like that, and the tattoos, and they would be like that. We know exactly who, one eyewitness, and it's over for me. So.
And by the way, I wouldn't be killing all black men. Listen, brothers, I wouldn't
Oh,
be killing.
I was like,
I would be
damn, that's a
killing
big
the.
statement,
I
yo.
would be killing the drug dealers and like the pedophile, the rapist,
The
because
bad
once again,
ones.
especially in Baltimore, I feel like cops are not going to be like,
Yeah.
oh,
Okay. So then I'm going to throw this back at you too, then, devil's advocate. So, however, comma, do you believe that people that are the drug dealers and the rapists and that sort of thing, do you think that they can experience true reform? Because then is it justified really to kill someone if they were raised in the hood with no chance, that it was either join a street gang or
I feel
have
like
be
that's a
in
cop out.
danger?
I feel like that's a cop out because I grew up in a pretty bad area where people were doing
Really?
shit, and and it actually motivated me to get the fuck out. You know what I mean? So like,
Hmm.
it actually motivated me to do well in school. So like, I think it's kind of that's a cop out.
Really? That's
Yeah, I don't.
interesting.
Yeah, I don't think that. I
You
don't
think
think
there's active
that.
choice there?
I think there's choice. Yeah, I think there's one
Okay.
choice. I think when you're in when you grow up in like bad areas, it should motivate you to get the fuck out, not to stay and become a part of the environment.
I see. Okay. Okay. And I will say, I mean, like I said, I come from the South,
Mhm.
very white predominant South, like meth heads and trailer parks.
Yes.
Okay. And obviously I didn't go down that route. And,
Yes.
but thankfully I didn't come from that environment though. Like, I had nice parents and home and whatever. But, it is interesting. We will see when you see that cycle of poverty, though, where people will not, they don't want to change their surroundings. They don't want to, they don't want to upset it. They're just going to live in their same community forever. And
Yep.
that's how it's going to go. Yep.
Yep.
You talk about horror. That's some horror right there.
It's horrifying. It is
Yeah.
100% horrifying, and yeah, I mean, it's definitely horrifying. But the thing I can't understand is I said we're going on. Listen, I go on rants.
It's
The whole
okay. Me
thing
too.
is,
I know, like, we're like having a
but why
political
would you?
thing.
The thing I can't understand is why would you sell drugs in your own community, right? Why would you want to tear down and kill the only people who look like you in your own community?
I
Why
know.
wouldn't you go over to a couple blocks down the street in Fells Point? That's by the way, that's a area, a rural area in Baltimore. Why would
Okay.
you go to Fells Point and go sell heroin over there and kill them off? Like, why would you do it in your own community? And like, why would you rob, kill, rape, and this in your own community? Like, why wouldn't
Yeah.
you go into someone else's community?
Yeah. No.
It makes no sense.
Well, and I wonder if they think that they could get away with it
Oh,
in their
100%.
community. I mean, that's they're like these. I'm
100%.
comfortable with this community. I think I could do it. Like if I was going to commit a crime, it'd probably be somewhere unfamiliar than going to Baltimore.
100%. Don't come to
I
Baltimore.
mean, obviously,
You would be a stat.
I would. Yeah, I would become an immediate. Yeah, already. They're like that bitch. She gotta go.
Oh, okay. All right. Damn. Yeah. See, I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm gonna lose more subscribers because of you. But
Sorry.
all right. All right. So, did you grow up as a horror fan?
No, actually,
Oh, okay.
surprisingly. So I grew up in a home where I was not allowed to watch horror. I was not allowed to go view the witchcraft section at Books a Million. It was very much, now it wasn't as far as like I wasn't allowed to read Harry Potter. It wasn't that far, but it definitely was like I tried to watch The Exorcist one time because I've always been drawn to it. Like I've always been a freak on the inside and wanted it more. And I would read the creepy pastas and I loved Goosebumps. I read every book in the Goosebumps series growing up. Like I did that sort of thing, but I wasn't allowed to watch horror movies because my mother said they would bring the devil into the home.
No.
So We got a lot of religious trauma
And then you're a
there.
horror writer.
Yes, and I actually in one of my books that hopefully everyone will get to read in the future, there are some major religious trauma threads kind of throughout it. It's a part of the plot, and I'm like, that is all drawn from personal experience, baby. Like that is, you know, just a lot of the dogma and the some really toxic culty type of stuff. So yeah, it's I've got a lot of interesting experiences in that realm. And so after I kind of was out of that environment for a while where I wasn't it wasn't a fear of, you know, bringing the devil into the home anymore. I was like, hey, I'm just gonna peek a little further, peek a little further. And then I started getting into the true, like I said, I was the true crime documentaries and all of that back when I did watch more TV regularly. That kind of started opening the doors. And then I started reading the nonfiction true crime books, and then the books kind of led into more, oh, well, this is a historical fiction about Jack the Ripper. And like, then it started getting into, oh, I want to read horror books. This is where it's
Yeah.
at. So yeah. And then I was like, fuck it. Now I'm going to read extreme horror. And now I write outlandish things I would have never read 10 years ago. Yeah.
So your husband, he's a writer also. Does he do horror or does he
He
do?
does. He does.
Oh, okay. See, that's
He
awesome.
he does fantasy really, really well. Big time fantasy and D&D and all that shit. Magic the Gathering and you know. But then he also massive Stephen King fan and grew up, and it's so funny. I think about back when we were dating, for all the younglings listening, we had DVDs that we were watching, you know.
Yeah.
We didn't have all the streaming services, okay,
Yeah.
on our flip phones and whatever. And I remember looking at his DVD rack, and it had like Death Tunnel and all these things on it that I was like, why would you watch all of this terrible stuff? And now I'm like, hey, honey, have you read Cows? Have you read Womb? Like, it's like way.
He converted you, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So it's totally switched, and it's really funny. So
That's amazing.
yeah, but we have a big time. And he actually, some of the more horrendous scenes in Crimson Cobblestones, because it is that gothic horror, but I mean, there's trigger warning, like there's some moments for sure. He helped me develop those scenes, and like I said, we sit and we plot together, and so it's a lot of fun. And we actually just co-authored a novelette that is out on, I'm submitting it right now, and I'm just like, I almost want to make my email subject to be, I'm so sorry that this is in your inbox. Because it's crazy, and it's dual POV. And so he and I wrote it, but we didn't talk about where the story was going. We just knew like kind of the central idea of like the characters and where they were at. And so then he would write a chapter, I would write a chapter, he would write a chapter, I would write a chapter, and we were just building off of each other's work. And that was fun. We really enjoyed that.
Fun.
It was a lot of fun, and we're very competitive, and so it makes our writing better too, because it's like, oh, he's using all these descriptive terms, like, you know, and then I'm like, I've got to be better than that. So we get very competitive.
It's nice. I can imagine it must be nice to have, you know, a partner that you're both are into the same thing and
Yeah,
the same hobby and passions. That must be amazing.
it's awesome. Yeah, he's a great supporter, and I support him too. I always say he's a better writer than me, but it's in different areas.
All right, Marie, where can everyone find you and your work?
So I am on every form of social media that pretty much exists right now, primarily on Facebook, Marie Lestrange. I have an author page, a private Facebook on there, Instagram. They can find my books anywhere that books are sold. You can go into your local bookstores, ask for a copy of Crimson Cobblestones. If they don't have it in store, they can order it for you. They are also on sale. Crimson Cobblestone is still on pre-order until it comes out in June. And so once June arrives, it will be available in audiobook, ebook, paperback, and hardback. So pre-order that for sure.
Yes.
And then Amazon, I mean, really anywhere you get your books, Kobo, Kindle, Amazon, everywhere. So, and make sure too, if the illustrated funny books are your thing, there's T is for Torture and S is for Serial Killers as well.
Awesome. Listen, everybody, go out
Yes.
there, get on Amazon, follow Marie on social media.
Yeah, TikTok for sure. Come watch
Yes,
all my crazy videos.
I'm about to follow you on TikTok.
Definitely do. Definitely do. All right.
Marie, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. And now, do not go over to the horror connection with Christopher and say, you know that black guy I was interviewing, he was talking about killing other
I'm
black
gonna say
guys.
he's gonna
I
kill
think he's
all
a
the
fucking
black guys.
serial killer.
I'm
I
gonna
know.
tell
Like,
him.
what
I'm
the
like,
fuck is wrong with him?
have you met him? You associate with that man? He said he's gonna kill everybody. Okay.
I think he's a serial killer.
I think he's already a serial killer. That's what it is. I just added myself to the list. Yeah.
He's over here telling himself.
Yes. Yes. I know one day our documentary will be up and they'll be like, we should have known those two. They were gonna go off and be serial killers. So yeah, this is their proof. So now go read all my books.
Listen, at least we're not killing little people and senior citizens.
No, definitely not. Just pedophiles, and I guess for certain black people. For you,
no, I said black men.
Like men. Okay, the drug dealers
and rapists. Yes.
But you never told me though if they could be reformed, if you would still kill them though. I feel like that's tricky.
No, I wouldn't. No. I'm talking about they have to actively be in the act. You know what I mean? They have to be actively with the crack rock in their hand, selling
and giving it to like a 14-year-old.
Yeah. Okay. Or they have to be 26 years old banging some 14-year-old or something. You know what I mean? They have to be doing it actually physically in the act.
And then you take them out. Vigilante style.
Done.
Okay. Good to know.
And then
so watch out, Baltimore. He's coming for you.
Yes. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop a crack rock on their chest. So they'll be like, oh, drug overdose.
Oh, you've told the whole world now. They're going to squander your plans. Like he laid it out for us. We already here's the blueprint.
And it wasn't called. They're like, oh, this is an open shut case. There's no reason to do an autopsy. Drug addiction.
And it's what's sad. You're probably right because they'd see 100%. That crack rock and that like that's sad. So
it's something crazy in Baltimore. It's something like 87% of homicides in Baltimore go unsolved. Like it's something ridiculous. Yes. And
my God.
But there's so many deaths here. I mean, it's the murder capital of the country,
I don't think I knew that actually. Wow.
And like, especially black on black crimes, like it's just like, oh, it was a gangbanger. Well, open shut case, blah, blah, and just keep it moving. Yeah, so that's why I would slide right in and I would never get caught.
No, you wouldn't. You're just the smooth criminal right up in there. Well, just the smooth criminal. Get caught. Yeah. I'm gonna remember that if it's like crime has suddenly gone down in Baltimore because
but a bunch of random black drug dealers are
something. There's no connection, but there might be a connection, and I'm gonna be like, I know. I'll write a book about it. There you go.
That would be a good book.
Perfect. We've already got our first co-project.
That'd be a great movie too.
You commit the crimes. I'll write the book. Well, we'll be famous. It'll be great. You might be in prison, but it'll be fun.
Marie, it's a blast. Listen, I would love to have you on in the future.
Awesome. I'd love to come back. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, everyone. Thank you for coming to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.
Bye.